Hello and welcome back. In this video I'll be showing you how to dismantle the front forks on an early Yamaha TZR125. The forks I'm working are from a 1987 model. Now the early TZR125 models were produced from 1987 right through to early 1992, but in late 92 Yamaha updated the design with the TZR125R, and that came with significant changes, including upside down or inverted forks. So if you've got one of these later models, this process won't apply. So just before you start, it's a good job to know what bits you are. First of all, it needs to be still clean, but this is the cap at the top of the fork leg. Then you've got this circlip. Then you've got what they call this bolt cap, which has also a no-ring on it, pushes down. Then the spring, the correct ones have a progressive spring at the top. I have seen ones that are plain all the way. On the fork leg then, you have the insert section here. You should have a plastic section at the bottom, and the bolt. On the bottom of the fork leg, you have the little screw that comes out of the oil hole. You have, this is the old ones, the dust cap, the circlip, and the oil seal. So you'll need replacements for these. Alright, back to the job of stripping these forks. The first step is to remove the fork oil, and for that you'll need to undo the small oil drain screw. Now as this bike is an old machine, it's clear that someone has been here before me. This particular screw required a flathead screwdriver, which isn't always the case, but it actually loosened very easy, to my surprise. On inspection though, I don't think this screw is an original part. Next, with the drain screw sorted, you'll need to pump the fork leg to push out the remaining oil. One of my legs had no oil in it at all, so I switched over to the other leg to demonstrate. As you can see, the oil that came out was very old and black, not what you want to see. A bit of pumping got the last of it out. Now, looking at the top of the fork leg, you should normally find a rubber plug cap. These often go missing, so if you still have yours, be careful not to damage it during their removal. The next job is to remove the circlip. These were well buried under rust, so with the fork leg secured in a vise, I had to do a bit of excavation work. I resort to using a Dremel with a copper wire brush. Copper is softer than the stanchion metal, so it won't cause damage. This made the circlip visible, but after some very persuasive work with a flat screwdrivers, it eventually popped out. Now comes a part that Yamaha call the bolt cap, even though it doesn't actually have threads. It seals the top of the fork with an O-ring. These are like hen's teeth, very hard to find, so it's important to get them out intact. In theory, they should just pop out, but mine were completely rusted in, so I had to use a small bearing puller, plenty of hammering, and some heat before they finally came free. Once that is out, the fork spring can be removed. Moving down to the lower end of the fork leg, you'll need a long reach H6 hex socket to loosen the bottom retaining bolt. To stop the stanchion spinning, I inserted some extension bars down inside. That worked well. Some people prefer to loosen the bolt before tackling the circlip and the bolt cap, because the spring tension helps hold the fork piston in place. That's just another approach, and I'll show you that here as well, so the choice is yours. With the bottom bolt out, the next step is to remove the dust seal from the lower fork. With a bit of force and a tire lever, it pops straight out. Then comes the second circlip battle. Again, use whatever tool you find works most effective. Finally, it's time to remove the fork oil seal. These can be really stubborn with age. With the fork leg clamped in a vise, I applied some heat, not too much, since you don't want to damage the bottom fork leg. Using the old fork seal to protect the rim and a tire lever for leverage, the oil seal popped out, and that's the fork completely disassembled. Thanks for watching. I'll be rebuilding these forks in an upcoming video, and also doing a full bike rebuild of this Yamaha TZR125, so why not subscribe? Give the video a like, share it, and leave a comment or any questions I'll be happy to answer. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you.